Hello everyone, this is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today our guest is Jay Perrin, who will fight on Combat Zone 89 August 16th. Hello Jay, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. And to be honest, your next fight will be a quite exciting one because
Mm,
it's not often happening that two former UFC fighters are fighting.
mm.
So if you can tell me how excited are you about this fight?
I'm very excited. I think that the matchup is really cool. I know that Jesse's a tough guy and that he's gonna come forward at me. You know what I mean? He's definitely gonna come to fight me. It's not gonna be um, uh, a grappling match by any stretch of the imagination. I can't imagine. And in this part of my career, I want to have those exciting matches. I'm 32 now, so um, I'm out of the UFC now, and I don't know if I'll get back. But in order to get back, you have to beat people like Jesse. So if I'm going to throw my hat back in the running, then I have to at least go against people like this. You can't fight people that, you know what I mean, you're supposed to beat. So I like fights that set my teeth on edge, and I know that Jesse isn't just going to fall down when I hit him. So it's just in me to take the best fight I can. And I heard, two fight UFC vet like myself. I'm like, he's just as hungry as I am to get back. So, what better way to do that than?
And after your UFC journey ended, you are 3-1, and actually your only loss was against a really tough regional prospect. Actually, probably the fighter who will be in the UFC soon. So
Mm,
I think that with this win, if you will be like 4-1 with I believe 3 fights winning streak, I think
mm.
that it can put you in quite a good position actually.
I feel like I'm not too far away. I'm one or two good wins away from, getting back into a position where they might call my name again. But, I try not to think about that too much, just because, I have a big obstacle in front of me. And, in the past, I've looked too far ahead and not at the person, at the target in front of me, and it gets me in trouble. So, I got to get past Jesse before any of that matters.
And actually, in your UFC run, you fought against really good fighters because, like Mario Bautista is like a ranked fighter, really highly ranked
Yeah.
fighter right now. He's also quite close to fighting for the title. And of course, Raul Rosas is one of the best prospects, and he's like proving that he's a great fighter. So your run was actually, we can see like in this point in 2025, we can see that it was like super tough one.
I'm grateful for it though. I at least with Mario had a nice little back and forth with him. I'm both of their biggest fans. I hope they never lose ever again. You know what I mean? I hope after they beat me, they never they never lose. And I hope Mario becomes a champion. Because you're right, it does kind of solidify that I had a tough road. And but that's the UFC, man. You don't know who you're gonna get on any given night. It could be a guy that you're supposed to beat, or a guy that it's going to be a top 15 guy in the world. And certainly I got the draw with Raul and Mario, having been, I think Raul will be a top 15 guy sooner than later. And Mario is on a top five run right now, so, I'm happy that I got to fight people like that of that caliber, and maybe I can do it
And
again.
for this fight, you are training in Lauzon MMA. And if you can tell me when did you get there? What was like the first year that you came to this gym?
So when I when I was cut from the UFC, it wasn't very long after that I lived in Vegas and then I had moved home to Massachusetts, just to kind of regroup. Took like a year off, and Joe Lauzon. I've known Joe since I was like 15 years old. He's been around since you know I started, and so he reached out to me and he said, "Hey, um, come in. You don't have to do anything. Just come in and you should be trading. So just come train. You don't have to fight or anything like that." And that was, I don't know what day. That was like 3 years ago almost. So around there, and Joe understands me really well. He gets and under his tutelage, I've grown quite a bit. He's a great guy you want to fight for, go into battle with. So it's been great for me. It's just like personally to be in that gym. The community that's very welcoming and friendly, and that kind of environment breeds good training partners. And so I get a lot of really great work from a lot of talented people. So I'm very grateful for that.
And actually, he's one of these fighters who get this kind of super exciting style. And right now, we can talk about like Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler, but in the end, he was like one of these first guys who always brings this like performances that wins the
Mhm.
bonus, like fight of the night or the finish of the night.
He had like the most ever for a while. I don't know who beat him, but he had every night he was cashing a 50K bonus, and so um, how can't you fight somebody, follow somebody like that? So and he's also very willing to help everybody, and I've never met a guy who's more generous with his time in like the stature that he's in, if that makes sense. How well regarded Joe Lauzon is, and how willing to help he is. You wouldn't see it very often. So a special guy for sure.
And overall, how your journey with combat sport started? What was the first sport that you ever train?
So my grandfather and I come from a line of like Irish boxers. So I started boxing when I was 6 a little bit for a few years, and then my grandfather kind of made me put it down. um, he had an incident in the ring where he was refereeing and somebody had died, and so he made us stop. So I found jujitsu and MMA and like Muay Thai around 14, and so I was like, this isn't boxing, and so I found that, and then I just kind of fell in love with it from there. You know what I mean? I just once you start, it's really hard to stop. And I decided, my family's good, been good at this. I'm good at this. I might as well take a shot at it, and it made me happy, and so I just wanted to do the thing that made me the happiest all the time. So I drove my entire life to try and get to a place where I can make martial arts my life, and I think I succeeded there.
And also watching your fights, we can see that you are very good in all areas. But what is like the favorite thing to train or to do in the fight for you? Is it like more of the something from the striking or grappling?
Mhm. I've always just liked to be a clean striker. I haven't displayed it as much as I should in my career, mostly because until recent years, I didn't really believe that my hands were very good. And then you have all these people kind of tell you, and I got to go to Vegas and kind of measure myself against really high level people, and my striking was very efficient against those people. So since then, I've kind of been like, you know what, I like doing this. I'm good at it, and so I would say I like to sit in the pocket and throw strikes at each other, and see who's the better man there. But I'm taking the path of least resistance most often than not. If I don't have to get hit in my head a bunch of times to win, I'm not gonna. That's silly. So if I can take you down, I will. But if I don't have to, I'm gonna box your ears off, and then we'll see where it goes. So I train everywhere and I get good everywhere, so that I'm not unprepared no matter where the fight goes, because it's chaotic, man. You can like prepare for whatever you want. You can think in your head things are going to go a certain way, but they never do, And so when that happens, how prepared are you to take a sidestep and adapt? And that's kind of like my philosophy, is that I don't ever want to get caught slipping or not be able to adjust because I didn't have one skill comparatively to the other.
And in your UFC career or overall even career, you fought against like super good fighters. But do you have maybe one fighter in mind that you would like to fight against from the UFC right now?
Besides the people I lost to,
Yes.
uh, shit. I always liked the idea of fighting Adrian Yanez because I like his boxing. And me and Adrian are cool. We've talked before, you know what I mean? I just think I have a lot of respect for his style and how he fights. And, top of my head, yeah, that's one just because it's fun. Uh, no, you know what? Not off the top of my head, no. Other than the ones that I've fought and lost to that I probably should have done better against. I'll take a Richie Lang again because I think I won that one. Pretty sure I won that one, but other than that, nah. Just if I were to get a second call, that's already like puts me in like a percentage of people that really doesn't get it. So I would just be honored to make the walk again against anybody. And at least this time, even if it is with against somebody that's a mountain, you know what I mean. At least I'll know and be able to expect that and go in with a kind of a different mindset as I go in. So. Um, yeah, there's maybe a few that like off the top of my head because I'd be like, oh, this would be fun to do, not because like I'm like, oh, fuck that guy, mostly because I think they're fun and like me and them would have a nice back and forth.
Yes, Giannis would be like a really good fight, and I thought that maybe like Cody Garbrandt also, he got this heavy boxing style. It also would be like a really really fun
100%.
one.
100% I'd do that if I could. You know, I don't know where Cody's at. If I don't know if he's retired or not, but he's I would do that. That's true. You know, then that's the thing is that you don't think about the highest caliber of people as well. You kind of try and stay at where you're at, but you're right. That would be fun. You know, definitely fun.
And right now, do you still like watch a UFC, or are you overall a UFC fan?
I love what we do, you know, so I'll take breaks from it, you know, because it kind of consumes my life sometimes, you know, it's all I do every day. I am in the gym 7 days a week. Like there is never a day where my feet aren't on the mat. So, um, if it's a really good card, sure. But I'm not watching the fight nights that I'm like not interested in. You know what I mean? Like that, it can't consume me. There's more to my life than that. I have like a kid and I have a family and I'll just go hang out with that. It's not that, but like I think too many fighters become only this thing that we do, and then when they're done, they don't know what they are. And so, you know, as I especially got to kind of go through that when I got cut because I was like, well, what do I do now? And so it gave me a little bit more introspective time. So I try and separate myself from the sport as healthily as I can.
So in actually a few days there will be a super big fight. It's a middleweight title fight, DDP against Kamzat. What do you think about this fight, and who do you think will win this one?
I really, you know, you know, I love the online but chip banter about it because truly, DDP is the ugliest fighter. He fights so ugly. I don't understand it. It has some kind of other plainly logic to it that it works. You know what I mean? So it's hard to really count him out because on paper he should have lost 4 times now. You know what I mean? Um, but Hamzat is you know what I mean? What he did to Robert Whitaker was crazy to me. I didn't think it was going to go like that at all. Um, I'm just gonna say DDP. My brain says Hamzat, but my heart says DDP, and so I've gone back and forth with it. I'm gonna say DDP because it's funny. You know what I mean? And I think that DDP winning is better for that division than Hamzat winning, and it's not because of Hamzat's boring or anything like that. It's because he fights once every like 2 years. You know what I mean? Like he can't. He's sick all the time. His visa's constantly being revoked. Yeah, I just feel like DDP has been, especially in the press conferences. God, Lord knows what he's going to say to Hamza at that press conference. He's more entertaining to like have a banter with. So I just think that DDP's better for middleweight than Hamzat is as far as like keeping the entertainment going. So I'm just going to go with that.
Yes, but definitely it will be a super good one, especially in this first round, because we don't know what's gonna happen. Like Kamzat like to destroy his opponents quite quickly. Of course, DDP is like the
Shoot.
champion, so he's not the easy fighter to fight for anyone.
He's so awkward, and like Hamzat is such a train about what he does. He goes right to work. It's not like a feeling out. He goes right to it. So like, I truly don't know what DDP's game plan is. What if he shoots? You know what I mean? DDP might shoot and get Hamzat on his back. Who knows? You know, that would be crazy. But I don't know. But it's definitely one of the that's like one of those fights where you're like, I truly have no idea who's gonna do that. And that's worth pirating it for, you know, to absolutely pirate it on a stream because $80 is crazy. You know, that's nuts. So
And also getting back to your fight, because you, of course, are a super experienced fighter right now,
yes, sir.
and we are close to the fight week. And a few days to the fight, do you feel some nerves with the like the that you know that there will be a really tough opponent in front of you, or you are so experienced that this is no problem for you?
Nerves are always a thing, man. Like you always have them, and they creep up on you. I think I am. I think it's part of a little bit of both. You know what I mean? You come back, and you have to. Sometimes you go through a camp, and you don't really realize, holy shit, I'm gonna get into a fight until the week of when it starts to all hit you. So I try to take steps to remind myself, hey, I'm going to get in a fight. This is going to hurt. You know what I mean? And as long as I can accept that, I can move forward the way that I want to and fight freely. You know, it's going to hurt. It's not going to be as easy as I'd like it to be, but I can get it done. And so I remind myself of that every once in a while, you know, because in your mind, sometimes you romanticize yourself and you think that things are going to go this way. You have this like highlight reel going in your head. And I try to ground myself and say, it's not going to be that simple. You know, it's not going to be that easy. You're going to have to work for it and it's going to hurt. And so, I guess I get nerves, right? The nerves really hit me when I'm in the tunnel right before, because that anticipation is just kind of like misplaced excitement. So, I've done this 21 times, I'm pretty sure now. So a fight's a fight's a fight, no matter where it is. You know what I mean? The only thing I have to focus on is the person in front of me. So, um, I love what I do. You know what I mean? I don't have to do this. I want to do it. You know what I mean? So, I'm freed of that. You know, like because I've already been to the UFC, whether or not I go back is fine. I still have done that, and I probably shouldn't have been able to get there that far to begin with. So, um, you know, I can go in there and fight without the shackles of if I lose this or that, I'll still be able to go and live my life and whatever. But that also means that I'm more free to be incredibly violent the whole time because I don't have to hold back or anything like that. So where I'm at, I guess, is there's nerves, but it's like I said, it's misplaced excitement more than it's I'm afraid of this or this person. It's more like I'm ready to go and I can't. I have no place to put that right now.
Okay, Jay. So good luck in the fight.
Thank you.
I hope that with this win you will get another chance in the UFC, because in the end I think that you deserve one at least one more fight, and I think
Thank you.
that winning this fight, it will definitely put you in a really good position. So you probably will be quite close on the like UFC radar.
I appreciate that, man. And you know what I mean? All goes to plan. I get a call and you'll be the first interview that we have.
Okay, thanks.
Of course.